Hi, this is Eric Gass, mechanic for Jesse Nelson, Troy Designs, Lucas Oil Honda. And this week's how-to presented by Lucas Oil will be how to change your rear tire. Some of the tools you're going to need to change your tire is 32mm wrench, 12mm. I prefer two tire spoons from Motion Pro, Bead Buddy, Lifesaver, valve core remover, also from Motion Pro, wire brush, tire gauge, contact cleaner, Lucas Oil slick mist, baby powder, gloves, and a towel. I always start by back bleeding my rear brake and loosen the axle nut. Remove the axle, nice handy place to keep it clean and out of the way is in the muffler. Remove the chain, wheel spacers, and tire changing stand. I like to use the apron to keep the threads clean. So start by removing the valve core, valve cap, valve core. Careful not to lose that. While that's draining, loosen the rim lock. With the air drained out, remove the rubber seal from the valve stem. And I start at the rim lock, breaking the bead and working my way around. I start with the brake disc up, just less likely chance of hitting your knuckles against the sprocket. You just want your spoon just to catch the tire bead. You don't want to push it in too far or too little for where it'll slip off or catch the tube. And then just start working your way around. Once you get back to where you started and the bead's all the way out of the rim, flip it over. Start back at the rim lock, break the bead again, and start removing the tire. Once you're back to the rim lock and tires on the outside of the rim, I like to pull it towards me. Using the tire iron, push the rim lock into the rim and just push down. Now's a good time to inspect your tape or rubber strip that's on your rim. We remove the rubber strip and replace it with tape. It's a bit more durable, stays in place. But just to run your eye across it, make sure there's no spokes or anything sticking out. If all that stuff is in order, I like to take a wire brush and just get all the dirt and debris from out of the rim. Contact cleaner. Clean it up even more. And then finally, a rag. Dunlop has two primary tires for us to choose from, and that's the MX52 and the MX32. 52 is geared more towards intermediate to hard packed, and the 32 is geared more towards intermediate to soft packed. Jesse prefers the 32 over the 52, mostly because straight line traction and also starts. Or it really helps on the starts. And then when the stuff gets really hard and slick, we will switch to the 52. But for today, we're going with the 32. I start by putting baby powder in the tire, and that just helps prevent chafing between the rubber tube and the rubber tire. Get that all around, don't worry about making a mess. Grabbing the old tube. When installing your tube, I always try to line up the valve stem with the yellow dot on the tire. And then I lube the the bead with Lucas Oil Slick Mist. That helps me get it onto the tire. Then some tires are directional, so it's important to pay attention to which way the arrow's pointed and the rotation of your wheel. But this one isn't, so we're just gonna put her on. So slick side down. I start by putting the valve stem in, pulling the tube out of the tire, and installing the valve stem. Put on the nut. And this part's kind of tricky, but try not to stretch the tube too much. Get the tire back to the bead lock and under, in between the bead lock and the rim, like so. And I'll hold that with my belly, and then grab a tire spoon and just start working your way around, taking small bites. Being careful not to pinch the tube in between the tire and the tire iron. On this last one, it might be kind of tight, and if you have black rims or colored rims, not really looking to scratch them, one trick is to take another tire spoon and go from the other side and lift the tire up. That way you can squeeze your tire iron in, remove your other tire iron. Voila. Now with that side on, apply some more lube. And I pay special attention to the valve stem, make sure it's straight. Sometimes when installing the tire, it can twist either which way. So I readjust my tire to make sure that the valve stem is straight. Starting at the rim lock once again, I start to the right side, pushing the rim lock in with one finger. And just making sure that the tire's in between the rim lock and the rim. Install my bead buddy. I can't change tires without this thing. And that just also goes in between the rim and the tire. Helps hold the tire in place as you work around. And from here I go clockwise. This first bite, again making sure that the tire is staying in between the rim and the rim lock. And as you get towards the end, you'll want to make sure that the bead is down in the drop zone, which is that inner part of the tire, the wheel. And then continue. And with your last bite, even though you're kind of far away, most of the time if you push down hard enough, it'll just pop right in. Move your bead buddy. Now it's time to set the bead. Just get some compressed air. Really helps. A pump can make it pretty difficult. If you're using a pump, I'd recommend installing the valve stem first. But since I'm using compressed air, I like to do it with the valve stem out. And you just hear a pop pop as the bead seats the tire. And when that happens, I let the air back out. And now I just like to inspect visually to make sure that it is seated all the way around both sides. So yeah, before I fill up the tire with air the final time, I push down on the rim lock to make sure that it's not caught up on the tube and everything's free. I install the valve core. Replace the seal. Check tire pressure. I'm at the shop, I like to set my tire pressures at 15. That way when I get to the track, all I have to do is let the air out. And then last, certainly not least, tighten the rim lock. Clean her up. Now your rear wheel's ready to install. I like to clean the wheel spacers, also the wheel seals themselves. Slide your wheel back in. Make sure the disc is in between the pads and that your wheel spacers stay in. Slide your chain on. Rear axle. Chain block, washer, axle nut. I just put a rag here in between the chain and the sprocket. That way it forces the axle all the way forward. And tighten your axle nut. And pump your rear brakes. There you have it. I've showed you how to change your rear tire on this week's How To presented by Lucas Oil.